Good evening and welcome to Head to Toe with Dr. T. Sorry for this late start, and thank you for joining us. We in Women's Month, August. Sizawujonga impilo yabantu ababhinqileyo, young, middle-aged and old. Ndoba zintoni esinoziqaphela, zintoni efuneka zenzile. We're focusing on women's health. Here ndiqhela uthetha ngamadoda. Women's health through the eyes and ears and the brain. Dr. Fikiswa Ngonyama. Fix, thank you so much for taking the trouble and coming through to equip our women. Kindly greet our viewers and feel at home, breathe in and out and relax.
Hello, viewers. I'm Dr. Ngonyama Fikiswa, and thanks, Doc, for having me.
Just briefly, what do you do for your day's work?
I'm a medical practitioner by profession, but also I had several trainings that I've also enrolled in. I'm currently practicing as an occupational medical practitioner, but mostly I work for the corporate industries. But I also do support some NPOs, which is the non-profit organizations, more on the corporate governance, also in working in the boards as well.
Thank you so much. Fix, take us through women's health. What should women do to live longer, stay healthy, and prevent most of the illnesses that are peculiar to women? Equip.
Yes, just maybe before we get there, our bodies are very, important. And I think as women as well, we need to nurture our bodies. And we've been the carers of many homes. We've been the carers of our children, our partners, and also our husbands. So I always say to women when I start this conversation is that let us nurture ourselves, and also actually also the community that we live in, actually to understand that who is the carer of the carer, because we are carers, and then who looks after us.
Yeah.
So the response,
and then ignore ourselves.
Yeah. So we have to look after ourselves, and we must be also the priority. That's why I wanted just to start with that statement, at least to embed that on people's minds, to say, let us nurture our bodies, let us also take care of the carer. But women's health is not also very far-fetched from general health, of course. As we say as doctors, that it's important for people to go for health checks, which is either on a yearly basis and also for people to look at recommendations from the doctor, because some people actually would require much more frequent health checks. But what is important as well is prevention. I know you are a big person in terms of prevention, because we cannot just dive into specific women health issues, but general health also is very important.
That's the focus of WHO, to focus on preventive medicine.
Preventive medicine.
Unlike what we've done in South Africa, because Kakulu is focused on curative medicine.
Yeah, of course, because I think the illnesses like chronic medical conditions, they also affect women. So in those health checks, things like blood pressures, glucose, cholesterol, those are the key things as well that we need to look at. But how do we prevent them? We have to engage in physical activities. People need to eat healthier. People need to also practice sleep hygiene. People don't sleep. If people don't sleep, then there are other issues that might develop in terms of their mental health and so on and so forth. People go into burnout. People don't recover as well.
On sleep hygiene, hours isn't
sleep hygiene.
I
know we are very busy. I know we are very busy.
I mean, even in sleep, some people, the brain is working.
Yes. So I think sleep recommendation would be 7 to 9 hours, but it must be good quality sleep. Because also you must create a very calming environment before you sleep. Sleep is just not about closing your eyes. You have to prepare your body, create a routine as well. And also that sleep, it helps you to switch off. I know a lot of people are struggling with sleep, so you must then find ways as to what actually helps you to be able to maintain your sleep. A routine, most people would say, stay away from all the digitals, your phones, your TV, probably an hour before you go to sleep, switch off the light, also have a very conducive environment, not too hot, not too cold, all of those things. But I think there's a lot of literature that's been also researched around sleep, but sleep hygiene is very important. People need to sleep early, create a routine. Also, you allow your body to reset, also recover, so that the next morning you are able to have got more energy, and then that you get able to be very productive the following day.
Awesome.
Yes, so prevention is key everywhere you go, as I've said. But now also then there are specific, tests or probably assessment that we can do for women.
Yeah.
For example, we're talking about breasts.
Yeah.
For example, even from an earlier age, women first need to understand as to their development of their breasts, especially with the kids. But as we grow older, above the ages of 30 to 40, people must start also already learning how to examine their breasts.
Okay.
Which is you
Self-examination.
do your self-breast examinations. People must be able to
Can you
pick up.
just tell them how to do it?
So what happens is that yes, no, you know, the other concern is I had a patient today that I saw as an executive. I told him that men also have got issues with breast cancer.
Yes.
So it means when I teach him, he must also go and examine the wife. So what happens is that you probably, when you're in front of the mirror, you can actually raise both of your hands.
Okay.
You could also see if there's asymmetry between the breast. Another one is pulling back, another one actually is still sitting in the same position.
Sure.
Then you might suspect that might be an issue in the other breast that is actually pulling backwards. Also, you look at the appearance of the skin. You might have, you know, that orange peel,
Yes.
that dimpling also around the skin as well of
Okay.
the breast. Look at your nipple. Also, the nipple can be retracted as well. So you also look at the nipple, the shape, is it retracted? And also when you press, if there any fluid coming out, it can be milky, can be bloody, or any other color. Also then now you learn to examine your breast. People will say you put it over your head and then you start with the other one. You start palpating and doing circular motion.
Let me hold it there on
All
the
of
circular
that.
motion. And I hope men are also watching because
Yes.
1% of men will or do get breast cancer issues. So it's very important to also know and assist in this
Yeah.
examination. Thank you and welcome back. Dr. Fikiswa Ngonyama uthi kwinto ekuthiwa sleep hygiene bomama nani bosisi kubalekile ulala enough hours, complete rest, you switch off, ingqondo iphumle, umzimba uphumle, then high level of physical activity, uthatha walk, ujoga, nothini, that's investing in preventative medicine. And then she closed off by saying we need to do self-breast examination because we're preventing breast cancer. You were still taking us through self-examination.
Yes.
We're having our hands up and pressing the armpits and checking if there are any lymph nodes. And then what else do we do as part of prevention?
Okay, so besides the self-monitoring as well, I think we do recommend women as well, let's say from the age of 40, to actually go and do the mammogram tests.
Thank you.
But also it's very important, once you feel and you see any abnormalities as I've described, also feeling any lumps in your breast, you must consult your gynecologist as soon as possible. Don't delay it. Rather be safe than to say you wait for it and then there are other complications later in life. So mammogram, please ladies, just do some mammograms as well. It's very important. Even with the elder ladies as well, we need to support them, because we've got women actually now who've got breast cancers much more at a later stage.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's quite common actually, even younger women. Maybe there's something we're doing wrong.
I think a lot of research we need to make there as well.
Yes.
Same as men, they will have breast cancers now, quite
Yeah.
an early age. So probably something we need to revisit and create more awareness as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
And then let's go a little bit down in terms of people planning to have kids, the pap smears.
Yes, reproductive health. Also, it's a big topic, especially for females, because remember, we're different from males. Males have
Yes.
a penis, we have a vagina
Yeah.
as well. But probably before we dwell deeper into that, hygiene, guys, is very important. It is very, very important. We need to keep our reproductive health, vagina and everything very clean, healthy. We wash, and also shaving and all of that is very important, yes. And then the other thing is that women now have to, especially when you start to become sexually active,
Yeah.
you have to do your pap smear.
Sure.
There are recommendations that if it is normal, you can actually have to repeat it every 3 to 5 years. But there are different risks currently. People have STIs, people have got HIV and others. Therefore, doctors will recommend that you do it frequently. Other doctors will even say you must do it every year.
Sure.
So once you do a pap smear, please make sure you follow the results. Because people do pap smears. They clearly do pap smears. They don't call people.
And
So
then find that results are
yes.
wrong and they're hanging there all along.
Of course. So please follow up the plan. Follow up your results first. Follow up the plan and the recommendations that are made by the doctor. And then also, I think something maybe we need to also now start teaching a lot of our young girls, especially let's say age of 9 to 10,
Yes.
they need to get the vaccination for HPV.
Thank
so
you.
that we prevent people developing cervical cancer quite in a later stage. So let us teach our young girls. I think even my experience in my child's school, the clinics did come to the schools, even private schools.
Parents were giving people
Yes.
a tough time in terms of this vaccination because the
Yeah.
teams used to visit schools and whatever, but you need parental consent and before people have sexual debut. Can you just cut across and send the message straight to parents? What is their role and responsibility, and what is HPV, just in simple terms, for them to understand the importance of vaccination?
Okay. So I think I want to make a plea to all the parents, either the mothers or also the fathers, or the carers, could be grandmothers, it could be grandfathers,
Yes.
aunts, and all of that, that cervical cancer, guys, is a reality. So we have now a vaccine, it's called the HPV vaccine. The HPV vaccine, it prevents the human papilloma virus, which could put a person at risk in terms of developing cervical cancer. So at an earlier age as 9 years, the girls can be able to get the vaccination. It is free of charge. It is available also in the public sector. So when the schools come to the primary schools, please, the parents need to give the consent. And I think all of us, it's our responsibility to create more awareness. We teach, the SGBs also are there. They need to get involved so that we have
because
this
there's a lot of
communication.
myths and people think that
Yes.
people are being digitalized and so on. And
No, I think we have to, vaccination, we know it works. You understand, there are even other different kinds of vaccination. It has been proven. Therefore, then prevention is very, it's recommended that it must be done early. And that's why we start at the earlier age. Then it prevents the chances of your child having cervical cancer later in life.
Awesome. While we're still with the young girls, a lot of parents are getting shocked that these young girls are starting to have their menses age 8, age 9, 10. Is it an alarming thing medically? Should we be worried? Is there anything that we're doing wrong?
No, no,
And parents are shocked. Can you prepare mothers to sort out the young women that are coming up so that they are mentally ready? And you get people complain, hey,
Yeah.
this kid is bleeding. It can't be menstruation and whatever.
So generations have changed, things have changed, probably with the type of food that we eat and also the environment that we are. And then we realize now kids start as early as age of 8 to have their menses. So I always say to parents as well when I engage even with friends and colleagues is that let us start talking about these conversations. Let's have these conversations much more early with our kids. They must know, because when they have these topics at school, when they come ask for questions, be able to converse with them and also be able to have that conversation. Same as me, I sit with my daughter. She knew even before she had the periods that, listen, there's something called menstruation. This, you're going to see that, this is going to happen. It might be regular or irregular. What do you use? There's something called pads. Some people don't feel comfortable using tampons because they're still virgins and all of that. But education must start earlier.
I'm going to hold you there on the tampon issue because it creates a lot of issues, because people think we've lost your virginity once you start using a tampon. But we're going to have a short break because these are important debates and myths that we need to actually... Some are swimmers. I'm going to have a kid not able to swim because of menstruation and yet tampons are there and so on. Let's take a break and then we'll be back shortly with speaking women's health, from the younger women to the middle-aged and then to the elderly. Preventative medicine. Follow us on our social media, Umakaba TV, MPK TV, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitter, and all over. Then Apile Communications on all your socials. That is where I am. WhatsApp us at 0836900530. Stick with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Nakupeyiwe Mpempe ndihleli no Dr. Fikiswa Ngonyama, primary health care practitioner who's mostly private, and we're talking women's health because it's Women's Month and we've touched on so many issues. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. Umakaba TV, you can ask questions, throw comments on all our socials. We definitely entertain those. This is educational. You can help one through sharing knowledge. Apile Communications is my page. Umakaba TV, Facebook, TikTok, and all over. WhatsApp 083-690-0530. Fix, we're still with the young lady.
Yes.
We've had menstruation. We've taken care of that. The issue of use of tampons. Some people are concerned about virginity. Is it a sin, or is it too bad in terms of medical profession for a young girl to use a tampon? Is it compulsory to use a pad?
It is not compulsory to use a pad. I think we probably have to break the myth that when you use a tampon, you're breaking your virginity. And also there are different sizes of tampons, even the smaller sizes of tampons that you can use. It's just that we need to teach our young girls as to how to use the tampon. If the mom is not comfortable, there are gynecologists out there that can actually be able to show how we insert the tampons. our kids, they enroll in sports. So sometimes now they are not going to be comfortable wearing a pad, and it's very
Yes.
uncomfortable, and people are going to the pool and all of that.
Mm.
So I think once we make them more comfortable, we teach them how to use it, our children, because what happens now, people use pads when they're in periods. Children don't want to go to sports. People will sit, and isolate themselves just during the
because of-
period.
And
yes.
yet that is something that's going to happen monthly.
It will happen monthly for the rest of their lives. So
Exactly.
I think also even in that conversation, when the menstruation topic, probably at another conversation, we need to teach boys in terms of menstruation, what happens, why those changes and all
Yes.
of that. And for our kids to already familiarize themselves with this topic.
Awesome.
Yes.
And then you still on vaginal health. Two things I wanted to touch on. The issue of women inserting fingers and everything in the vagina in the term of cleansing or cleaning the vagina because maybe it's smelling or extra smelling or whatever. Maybe some put perfume and all sorts of things and whatever. Two, the wiping technique for young girls to prevent UTIs.
Okay, so let's probably start with the UTIs, which is the urinary tract infection.
Yes.
Then people start having burning micturition. Let's say chisumchamo, ibladda yakho, yena sona iyatshisa nayo xa ugqiba uchama. I think it's very important because we've got a very short urethra, that
Yes.
pipe from the bladder that passes through the urine through the vagina. So it is important that people must wipe from the front to the back. And also your hand must be from the back, must come from the back, then, facing that way.
Hey,
because a
tough
lot
ones.
of people, they are very lazy. We are very lazy,
Yes.
People just open their legs and then they want to pull from the back to the
Yeah.
front. So you are taking now the E. coli and other bacteria from the back into the vagina. And actually, that's why women would actually have much more frequent UTIs.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it is safe that you start teaching your children quite early because even young girls now, they've got UTIs. They don't understand, they've got irritations, and they tell you this, and then they need to wipe. Put your hand on the back and wipe from the front to the back.
Sure.
And also, I think the other thing is important is that hydration is very important. People must hydrate. Your urine must be clear. People must learn to drink 2 liters of water a day, at least. Then you get your urine also to be clear and all of that. Yes.
Awesome. And then the
parts of the
Cleansing.
the part of the cleansing.
all these things, inserting of fingers and so on, and then people come repeatedly with candidiasis and whatever. People want to be hot in bed.
Guys,
All these
this putting of fingers in the vagina, putting of in the vagina is only for foreplay when we are trying to find. I think let's just say it like that.
Yes.
It's for foreplay. That's it. Trying to find the
Not
G
for
spot
cleansing.
or whatever other sexual acts that you want to do with the finger, but not for cleansing. Let's stop putting anything on the vagina because we're disturbing our flora, which is the normal bacteria that is in your vagina. So we don't put perfumes or we don't put soap because water only by itself is sufficient for the vagina to clean. Let us clean our vaginas properly. Also, I understand people use a lot of bath salts, bath soaps, and all of that. Then people end up having candida and all of that.
Awesome.
But I think once you feel the irritation, you see that whitish discharge, especially it's like cheesy one,
Yeah.
they must consult the doctor immediately. You will be given treatment, of course, appropriately. But we don't douche. After sexual people, they are
And
douching,
then
they are
people
using
ask you,
Dettol, Savlons,
why
and
are
all
these
of these things.
existing if we're not going to use them? The market is not about that. People are marketing, they do market analysis and they provide what you need from your brain. But does your health need those things? You have tackled that very well.
Yes.
Douching and inserting fingers and so on. And some people want their vaginas to, they say they're tightening their vaginas
yeah.
with all kinds of chemicals and products and concoctions, a sniff, everything. Things that can actually irritate the vagina. You've spoken against that also. And then in closing, why is it difficult for the older women now? Why is it difficult for women to reach or get orgasm? That's equipment now.
Hey, you mean for older women?
That's your closing, yeah. Maybe women will also be helped because in conferences we find that a lot of women don't understand themselves also.
Yeah, no. You know what? I think the big thing is that about self-awareness. You must know yourself as a woman. For example, I think you teach a lot of things about erogenous zones.
Yeah.
You must know where do you want to be touched.
Sure.
Either is it behind the ear, on the ears, is it the lips, is it the neck, the breast, and wherever, and down there as well.
Sure.
So you need to learn your body and actually understand. I know there's a lot of big taboo as well in terms of masturbation, and I know also you've also touched this
There's a
several
lot of-
times.
yeah.
But sometimes people explore to understand their bodies. How do they
Exactly.
respond? Then I think
Self-understanding.
self-understanding, and then I think it helps the partner as well to say, okay, then you can guide the person as to what do you want. And then also I think some men they still don't get it, that it's not all about the penetration.
Yes.
It's not all about the penetration.
Yo,
I think
actually,
it's-
studies show a very disastrous result that about 30% of women will come from the penis only. Otherwise, you need to use all other organs, tongue, finger,
the tongue,
and so
the
on.
finger, the touch. So,
Yes.
so same as foreplay is very important as well. So if we don't do foreplay, because still men, I saw an article last week, men will still just turn the women still and then just get on top of a person. But what about foreplay? You understand? For people to be in the game as well, same as you,
Awesome.
then actually that helps. Even without the penetration as well. Foreplay, different ways. There's a clitoris, you know, we talk about so many
I
nerves in the
even have a
clitoris as well.
three-dimensional one.
Yes.
I'll carry it one day.
I've seen it. So the finger, the tongue, everything, it works. So that's why I'm saying, but self-awareness is very important. You must know yourself so that you're able to tell your partner as to what do you want, you as a
Awesome.
person.
Let me hold you there. Sleep hygiene, vaginal health, sexual health. We've touched on all those three. And importantly, for young girls and young ladies, hygiene is important. The way you wipe, HPV vaccination, and awareness about menstruation. Let these young ladies be ready, and let us also be ready. It starts early now. Unfortunately, ixesha lethu lincinci, and thank you for being with us. Follow us on all our social media, Apile Communications, across all social networks, and then Puma Kappa TV. We are always live on Thursdays, 7:30. Thank you for being with us, and thank you to Dr. Fikiswa Ngonyama for unpacking women's health in this Women's Month. See you.